What's up, guys? It is John from Side Hustle Experiment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm a six-figure online arbitrage seller, and recently I hit 50K in sales in the last 30 days, and now I've been getting a ton of questions about sourcing, struggling with sourcing, and I was there. And instead of making a video, you should, I'm going to kind of go over how I was able to go from like hardly being able to spend $200 or $300 a day to now spending anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 to $3,000, and basically why you might be struggling, or some of the things I struggled with, because I'm betting you're struggling with these same things. Finding stuff. A lot of people ask, how much can you find in an hour? How much should your VA find in an hour? So we're going to kind of address all of that, and hopefully after this video, you'll be able to source more, have some better ideas, and yeah, let's get into it. So the first mistake I made was setting a hard to hit spend goal. So my spend goal when I first started, I wanted to spend $500 to $1,000 a day. That was the goal. And I was just getting started. So if you're just getting started and you're not buying like shoes and stuff, you're just buying I wasn't buying shoes and apparel. Now I buy a lot of apparel, so it would have been a little easier. But if you're just trying to buy stuff from like Walmart, Target, stuff that's under $20-ish, it's kind of challenging to get to 1,000, especially when you're just learning, you don't know what you're doing. So something that helped me a lot was, number one, lowering that to $250 and then eventually going to $500. So the reason being is I was making bad buys to try to hit that $1,000. I was replenning items that probably shouldn't have been replenned because I wanted to hit the $1,000. I would have been better off just being like, you know what, do $250 today. I mean, I was running another business that like would have supported doing that, like a slow growth. But after being able to hit $250, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I got this. Like, I want to spend some more. And then I was able to do that one week. The next week it was $500, and I struggled around the $500-ish mark. Again, today that would be super easy because I do buy a lot of apparel, and that tends to be $30-ish, $25-ish price. So those could rack up real easy if you buy 10 of each. You know what I mean? Spending $250 at one time. So that was one thing. And then a second piece of that was you don't have to spend. It's tricky, but I would say now the goal is to spend between $1,000 and $1,500 a day. But it doesn't necessarily have to be in the day. It's more, I want to spend between $30,000 and $40,000 for the month. So I really learned this last month. There was a really, really big sale towards the end of it, and we were able to spend about $10,000-ish around there in about 3 days. And I was like, wow, like this is much better. Lots of opportunity there. And then I was just like, okay, like this is great because I don't have to worry about finding like $1,000 every day for a couple days. Now that I've replenished the stuff, it gets easier. But just try to keep that in mind. One day, maybe you can only spend $100, or maybe you can't spend anything, but keep in mind, there could be a big sale or something, I don't know, you could just come across something or a lot of things and you are able to spend a ton of money. So just keep that in mind. Number two, let me think. Yeah, number two, we're gonna say you're probably not looking, or I wasn't looking at enough products. So basically, I thought I was looking at a lot of products, but in SellerAmp, it's what I use to source and find profitable products. You want a free trial? There's a link down below. I was looking at probably, if I had to guess, maybe like 100 or 200 in a day, which I guess is all right. But I just looked in SellerAmp. You could check out, I think it's on the settings page. And this month alone, the team and I have already looked at over 11,200 products. So a lot of it is just getting reps, seeing a lot of products, seeing a lot of Keepa charts. And that's just not like scrolling through. That's like, I'm pretty sure, like clicking in, looking at it a little more, putting some numbers in there. So it's a lot of products to go through and go through quickly. So just getting more reps, seeing more products. It takes a lot of time to get this down and start buying stuff. And depending on your ROI and what you're shooting for in the categories, that is probably a really big one for me. You just have to look at a lot more, and that's that. So let's just get into the next one, because it kind of goes together. Is I wasn't spending enough focused time on this. I was running a book business at a warehouse, at an employee, or helper rather. And I was doing that like pretty much full time. So I would only source for about 1 to 2 hours in the morning, and it just wasn't enough time. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I feel like for me personally, if I'm sourcing just kind of raw and kind of just doing storefront stalking, or maybe I'm going down, chasing a brand or doing manual sourcing or whatever I'm doing, I feel like it takes me about an hour to get warmed up and kind of, going or finding something or it's very rare I come to a site, find one product, I'm like, oh wow, this is good, I'm gonna buy this, and then, go from there. Very rare, but it does happen. And to top that off, it's going to be very hard for you if you're just sourcing an hour a day to really scale up quickly. If that's all you have, that's all you have, but just keep that in mind. Also, I wasn't really focused. So I was running 2 other businesses, number one, and I needed to do that to keep everything rolling. But I was also sitting at my desk, and I would, I was frustrated, so I wouldn't find something, and then I'd pick up my phone and check Instagram or check my sales, or oh, I wonder how like this item is doing, like do I need to reprice, and then I would be getting done like no sourcing. So it's hard to kind of master that, and like it's happened in the past, and I've started to just have like a pen and paper next to me, and whenever like something comes to mind, instead of checking it right there, I just write it on that pad of paper, and then I could either, after I'm done sourcing, I could go through that pad, or I could just like put it where it needs to go. And that also led to me thinking I was spending a lot more time than I really was. If you're spending 4 or 5 hours sourcing, but mixed into that, just remember, like, you're going to the bathroom, you might get something to eat. If you have kids, maybe they need something. I was checking Instagram, I was watching or listening to a YouTube video in the background, or listening to a podcast. Like, it's not focused time. So what seemed like 4 hours and I didn't find anything was really maybe an hour and a half of actually like searching and sourcing. So just keep that in mind if that's what you're doing. I have found a very good hack. It's kind of weird, but when I've done live sourcing videos on the channel where I basically will go through, try to find stuff for you guys, show you what I'm thinking about. I basically kind of do that in my head. I'm like, all right, there's 2 hours on the clock. Come on, let's go find stuff. Like, that's all we're doing. Because when I'm making a YouTube video, I don't really, my editor, I now have an editor, so that's kind of helpful. But back then, I was just like, I didn't do any editing. So it's not like I could like stop it and then come back to it. I mean, I guess I could, but like, I didn't want to edit it. So it was just focused time. So, I mean, I think that is a big one. Another one was, I thought everything that was good was out of stock. I know someone recently said that to me. It's like, everything good is out of stock. And while that might be true today, it might not be true 2 hours from now. It may not be true tomorrow, etc., etc. I personally like to wake up early. I think that is probably one of the best times to source, because when everyone's sleeping, I think stores could restock overnight or whatever. That's just a theory. I have no idea. I found that early in the morning, around lunchtime, and late at night, like not late, like 9, maybe 10, are good times to check if your item is out of stock, if it's now available. So just keep that in mind. Like, they're out of stock temporarily. Put that on a spreadsheet. If you use SellerAmp, I have a separate spreadsheet that I just click a button, and if it's out of stock, it just goes in there, that sheet. And then I used to check it every morning. Now it's like once a week. But yeah, you could just keep checking, constantly checking. I do the same thing for replens. Things, sometimes you can only buy a certain amount. Sometimes the store doesn't have enough. So basically, you know, you just have to constantly be checking, guys. Like, you just can't be like, oh, it's not here, and then like totally forget about it. Like, track it. Have a good way to keep track of things. So that was another issue. And then the last one, which I don't think a lot of people talk about a lot, is variations. So variation listings could be tricky, which is a good and a bad thing. If you're new and don't really know how to use Keepa, it could be a bad thing, because you don't know what you're doing. But if you know how to read variations, there are a lot of instances where maybe, let's just say, this is really good in apparel. So for apparel, you know, if you're buying, I don't know, a pair of shorts or something, you know, there's small, there's medium, there's large, there's extra large. So there's also different colors, different styles. So right off the bat, if you find a profitable item, then you could look at different colors, different sizes. And that's what happened a lot of the time. Actually, the other day, it wasn't clothing, it was something else. I found, it was a tool, I think it was, and the tool was actually in different colors. So one lead turned into me buying 3 different products. So I bought 5 of each, and they were expensive. So I don't know, I spent $200 on each style. So there's $600 right there. So be looking at variations. Also look for bundle opportunities. Maybe a single. I'm a love-hate on the bundles, because I don't really like bundling things together. It really has to be worth it for me. But when I was first starting, I did bundle a lot of stuff, because I really just wanted to buy stuff, get like in the mix. So look for that. If 1 box of tissues doesn't sell, see if, just type in the brand, be like, Kleenex tissues, Kleenex 2-pack, Kleenex 4-pack, and just see what else is there. You never know. A single could turn into, hey, like a 2-pack is profitable, a 3-pack, a 4-pack. Just open your eyes. It doesn't have to be just one single SKU. So keep that in mind. And yeah, on the flip side, like I said, it could also be good for your spend goal to hit different variations, because if one is profitable, there is a good chance that others are profitable too, and that means you could just spend more money. So that's what I got for you guys today. Just keep in mind, this takes a lot of time. Most people are not. I know what they do on YouTube. They sit down for 15 minutes and find like 2 or 3 products. That's usually not the case. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.